I'm not gonna lie, bro. I think for a lot of us, our past still haunts us in some ways. And, even though every moment and event that happened in the past is in the past, we might still, in our cities, be surrounded by people that remind us of that. They weren't necessarily directly associated with that event or moment, but because they were there around that time, it brings back memories of, I guess, who you used to be. So that's the case for me. So back in high school, right? I was the kind of person that, you know, I felt as if I was weak in every single way. And I was down bad, not in the kind of down bad you would think, like, not the down bad, like, oh, I'm on Tinder getting with girls who are below my standards. Not that kind of down bad. Uh, I'm talking about, like, just being at low points of your life. And sometimes you'll see people that might have been associated with that directly, which might piss you off. But sometimes you'll see people that were still meshed within that timeline, and you'll see them pop up here and there in your city again. And you it brings back memories of kind of the kind of person you were. And I think that's a good indicator of whether or not your past still haunts you. Like, if you see someone that was associated with that time and you think, you think for whatever reason that you don't like this person, or that you want to stay away from them, because we all have the tendency to do that. And I've noticed that, right? You think, like, about all these memes online, like about how, these people back in high school you knew and things like that, and you just kind of like walk past them, like, you don't know them. And I think that comes from a few things. Again, the first thing that I mentioned, that they were associated with that time period, but also because for some of us, the people that we used to know, right? Their opinion of our mentality has not grown from what it was back in high school. And so we might have changed physically. Like, I have longer hair, so people will say, oh, he has longer hair, he has his beard, he dresses a lot better, he looks nice, or whatever, right? But I think I definitely had a tendency to avoid those kinds of people because of the events that they were, again, involved with and meshed with. And it brings back memories of the kind of person who I was, which is something that I'd like to keep in the past. And only now am I starting to come to peace with that, is like, of the kind of person who I was, and realizing that person I was necessary to become the kind of person I am now. But even then, now and then, it's like I look at these people, and sometimes it's just as general as you don't have an interest in them, or you dislike them because they're some sort of dick, or they're, you just didn't like them, right? But sometimes I think it's more so you don't like the fact that they might still hold the same opinion of you, right? And if you end up actually talking to these people, or people of your past, that you're afraid that they might still impose their reality and how they thought who you were. They might still think, I know that's a bit of a mind fuck even for me, but they might try to, say that, how do I word this, bro? Let me think about this. A good way people say this is like, you've changed, right? And sometimes people don't realize it, but again, they impose their sense of reality onto you. And I think I've talked about that concept before. And it's only this idea of, like, you're supposed to be. And what I mean by in this particular context, I mean, you're supposed to be like who you used to be, right? but some people won't like the fact that you've changed or maybe done better for yourself because you were, you know, below them to some metric, or maybe you were below them in terms of status, but now that doesn't matter because that's something that only mattered in high school, and now you're in the real world, so that completely diminished. Not completely, of course, you have the real world status, but now you're like playing with the sharks type shit, right? So it's completely different, and they might not like the fact that you might be a lot more physically fit than you used to be, and things like that. So sometimes I guess the point of this video is to just kind of explore the concept, and I don't know if I've talked about this, but sometimes I just want to explore concepts, and sometimes I'm not trying to act like I'm going to give you an answer here and that I'm the all wise and all knowing, because I feel like all self-improvement YouTubers do that shit. They only want to talk about what they all know about or have implemented, which I think is stupid. Sometimes you just need to talk about like concepts that maybe your tribe can help you elaborate on, or this brotherhood could elaborate on, and bring awareness to it, so that we know that all of the other brothers, right, go through something similar, and they're just trying to detach themselves from their past, you know, because they don't want to be chained or anchored to that. They want to break that. They want to, you know, reach their potential. They don't want to be held hostage by other people's beliefs of who they used to be. So yeah, so I guess I'm just making this to kind of explore that concept, and maybe see y'all's perspective on it. So I would love to hear this. Okay, so my video had cut out there, but all I was trying to say is, again, I don't necessarily know the answers to everything, and I'd really appreciate it if y'all left comments on what y'all think about this. But the best way in which I felt I've been able to deal with this so far, or I have a tendency to say I'm trying to get rid of that, I think, is first of all by journaling. Now, I've journaled about this, but not as much as you think I would have. Sometimes when I'm really in that mood of understanding what it is that my past was like, right? So I write that all down, and then I constantly refer back to it. So I'll write something, and then if there's something that I feel like I need to write, or something that I have the need to say, which is how I deal with my resentment and my hatred, I'll literally just write it down and I'll put it into the light, because it's something that we find very uncomfortable to deal with, right? We find it very uncomfortable to know that we're capable of saying very, very hateful and being very, very resentful. You know, no one wants to be that person, but I think the only way you actually get rid of that is by putting it into the light and acknowledging it, and you need to do that by first articulating it and putting it on the journal, so you understand what it is you're looking at. It's almost like you're talking to the version of you who is resentful and who felt the way they did, and I think that can be very, very valuable, you know, even if these red pill guys don't think otherwise and shit like that. You know, I just think it creates way of a better understanding, which I'll make another video on emotions and understanding with about that. But yeah, I digress, right? I get off topic sometimes, but yeah. I think that's pretty much all I had to say. But yeah, I love the comments, y'all. Just leave them down. Let me know what you think, and let us know if you've been able to deal with this somehow, because I've had my methods, and then you might have yours as well, so you could help the brotherhood out. You feel me? All right, but that's all I had for y'all, right? Peace. Take it easy.